Would you rather work a job that pays you a lot of money, but it takes up 70% of your free time and it drains you of your energy? Or would you rather work a job that pays mediocre, but you get to clock out promptly at 5 p.m. with no weekend overtime? I chose the latter, and I worked two quote-unquote boring corporate jobs, and it changed my life for the better. Sure, they weren't glamorous or sexy job titles, but because I was able to clock out promptly at 5, I built this incredible whole other lifestyle and identity outside of work. I learned about stock investing, built an online side hustle that made me 4 figures a month, practiced yoga, danced, traveled, cooked, dated, and I built a level of confidence I've never had before. Meanwhile, I have close family and friends who chased after the prestigious high-income jobs, and from the outside, on paper, it looks really impressive, but behind the scenes, their entire lives really did revolve around their jobs. They were just too tired to do anything else. Their actual lives kind of just looked boring. So to an extent, I guess you just have to choose your level of boring. And hold up, I'm not saying you can't have both. I'm all for a job that has a lucrative pay, a fulfilling career, and a great work-life balance, but I'm also realistic as those unicorn jobs are rare. So if you have a job that is able to fulfill all of those criteria, then that's awesome. This video might not be for you, but I am speaking to everyone else out there who is facing this dilemma and struggle, because if you scroll through LinkedIn or Indeed, or if you just look around in corporate settings, you will start to see that modern day capitalism is really funneling jobs into these two extremes. What happened to the stable, well-paid middle ground jobs that our parents enjoyed? The safe jobs that helped everyday baby boomers and Gen Xs buy homes, build a family, go on vacation, and eventually retire. It's silently disappearing, especially as AI advances in the AI revolution. This also speaks so much volume to the disappearing middle class and the increasing divide between the rich and the poor. And that, my friends, is modern day capitalism at work. We trade away our time, energy, and life, and the ones who are profiting from it are those who have created this system. Now, I've talked about this notion of why you should be working a boring job in modern day capitalism. I have a video I'm going to link in the show cards and in the description, but in today's video, we're going to be diving deeper into modern day jobs and your best options for living out a fulfilling career and life. Now, let's first define the two types of jobs. The first are the higher paying prestigious jobs. Think doctor, lawyers, those in IB, PE, managerial positions. They're paid high six figures, multiple six figures a year, and require a lot of time and energy commitment. Now, a boring job, on the other hand, is one that you feel very capable in working in. You have the skills, it's not too challenging, you're not pulling your hair out of your head, you're not feeling drained from it, you're not working unpaid overtime over the weekends. What's quote unquote boring to me is going to look vastly different compared to the next person, compared to you. It really does depend on your skills, experiences, and wisdom. People working a higher paying job tend to associate themselves with their work identity a lot stronger compared to those with a boring job. I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm an XYZ. Now it really makes sense because you're spending so much of your waking day working that job, you're spending all your energy, and you know, it's a sexy, admirable title, I'll give you that. So of course you'll start to strongly identify yourself with your job. But this can also be a very slippery slope because you start to fall into this like codependent relationship with a partner where you're with them almost 24/7, your self-worth, your sense of identity starts to be attached to them. And the problem is when you let go of that relationship, if your partner leaves for work, for travels, for good, you start to fall apart. Like you don't know who you are outside of that partner, that relationship, and you feel unsafe, you feel so lonely. And that's the same thing when you're so attached to your work identity. If you lose that job for whatever reason or outside of work hours, you're gonna start to feel very vulnerable and even insecure. You really wanna make sure that work isn't your only sense of identity. But the thing is, to create an identity outside of work, you need to first have time outside of work to explore yourself and build that connection with who you are. We see that people with a boring job tend to have more free time to connect with themselves, with nature, to explore different things and discover who they are. I've personally tried dozens of new things, from learning new skills to traveling and building a business, because I actually had the time. I'm not relying on my 9-to-5 job as my sole identity and my sole stream of income. I have an identity and incomes outside of my 9-to-5 job, which gives me the confidence to be who I am as well. And this is why free time and solitude time is so precious. You cannot buy confidence and peace. Even right now, these days, I'm building a business and that is a 24/7 job, but I still make time to connect with myself, to connect with other people, to go to different events, to try new things, because I don't want to just attach my identity to being a YouTuber, a content creator, an entrepreneur. I'm so much more than that. And I want to build this healthy relationship, healthy work-life balance. Now, society trains us to believe that more money means more growth, more success, more freedom, and that cannot be further from the truth. As you move up the corporate ladder, it is not just your pay that goes up. The skill sets, the people skills, the time and energy, the expectations, the pressure, the responsibilities all go up as well. And I would argue that the pay increase isn't proportional to the increases of everything else as well. What if a promotion really just means coming home later, more hair-pulling moments at work, less time connecting with your loved ones and with yourself, and it could be even expensive and costly in terms of your physical and mental health, all just for a small bump in salary and a job title that could hopefully woo other people. There's now a ton of research sharing that longer work hours can lead to worse mental health. One study looked at over 600,000 workers and the pattern was clear as day. The longer you worked, the worse your health gets. Once you're clocking in 55 hours or more, your risk of stroke goes up by about a third, not to mention the added stress, burnout, and anxiety on top of that. This is why some countries have the 4-day work week. Countries like Netherlands, Iceland, and Belgium have seen so much success with a 4-day work week. There's less stress and burnout, and equal or increased productivity. The Tokyo government has also introduced a 4-day work week because they want to boost work-life balance and, more importantly, birth rates. That country is in need of more people to support their aging population because people cannot have kids, make new lives when they're stressed out and they're upset with their own lives. There's also a global study that shared 6 months after this transition into a 4-day work week, 67% of workers reported reduced levels of burnout. 41% said their mental health improved, and 38% reported less issues with sleep. More money, a higher rank, a prestigious job isn't always better for you when you really consider the full holistic picture. You really got to ask yourself at the core, what do you really prioritize in your job? What do you really prioritize in your life? And maybe in this season of life, you're like, well, I really want to make a ton of money. I want to go hustle hard in my job, and I love my job, it's fulfilling, you want to go after that. And that's completely cool. Maybe you want to be able to enjoy your life and you want a job that just pays the bills and gives you peace of mind. Studies show that 68% of Gen Zs would accept a lower salary if it meant better work-life balance. And 72% of Gen Zs value work-life balance and job satisfaction over a high pay. And with that all said, I just want to tell you that you can actually live off a mediocre paying job that doesn't pay 6 figures. There's this really popular study that showed day-to-day happiness and emotional well-being actually plateaus after making $75,000 a year. Now that study was from 2010, so we have to adjust the numbers a little bit to account for inflation, but the point is taken. Money is important to put food on the table, to pay for needs, for delights, but after a certain point, money cannot buy true and full happiness. And I mean, that's exactly why there are billionaires chasing after more money, more power, more success, thinking it would quench their thirst for happiness and wholeness. Gosh, there are billionaires out there who can't enjoy real wealth. Real wealth is the ability to feel enough right now, to feel wealthy with what you have, even if it's not that much, to be appreciative of everything you have right now. It's peace, confidence, and contentment. Money cannot buy that. The sooner you learn how to feel wholeness, contentment, and peace within your life, the sooner you're gonna enjoy your every day, every hour, and every minute of your life. And let's be real, most of us just want more money to buy more things to prove that we are worthy. But what is the point of buying all these unnecessary things that don't bring real joy just to impress people we don't really care about, who don't also care about us, and we're just going to be destroying the environment, destroying and harming Mother Nature. Think about all the moments when you impulsively buy that dress, that pair of earrings, that designer watch, just because you see this influencer with 1 million followers on Instagram wearing it. And trust me when I say this, if you can just learn how to be more mindful, to find wholeness within yourself right now, your wallet is gonna thank you big time. Your bank account is going to have a lot more money, and most importantly, you can still work a lower paying, boring job that doesn't compromise on your health and your enjoyment of life. Now, my last and final point here, I understand that inflation is on the rise and company salaries have been stagnant for decades. So this is why I recommend first working a boring, lower paying job, and secondly, to use your extra time and energy to build a side hustle. This is very possible in today's day and age. And I am not talking about building a 5 to 9 hustle grind culture kind of side hustle. I am talking about just focusing 1 hour a day consistently, only working on the 1 to 2 things that truly matter. Not designing a pretty website, getting all worked up about the aesthetics, not building a course that nobody has asked for. Instead, focus on the 1 to 2 most important things, like building a community and real momentum that drives things forward. I have a ton of video talking about this. I'm gonna link them in the description box. And I also have a free email course teaching you that I'm gonna link in the comment section and in the description box as well. An important thing I want you to remember is that in the beginning, there is going to be a learning curve, a steep learning curve with learning about entrepreneurship, with content creation, and you just have to keep working at it, because once you get past that learning curve, everything is gonna become a lot easier. So for example, it used to take me like 30, 40 hours to create one YouTube video, which is why I could only post 1 video a month. That was my capacity. But now I'm at a point where it takes me less than like 10, 15 hours and I can post once a week. So you just have to keep practicing and see these as skills you can master. The sooner you start now, the faster you're gonna learn and the better the quality of your work. And soon you're gonna be building this new income stream that has so much more growth potential that can supplement your 9-to-5 job. So if you feel stuck in a boring 9-to-5 job, don't cry and pout about it, wishing you had a flashier job. Use your time to your advantage. Build your skills, build a side hustle, create a life outside of your job that feels very full to you, because boring jobs can truly buy you the freedom to build an exciting life in modern day capitalism today, at least. So I kind of want to know, what kind of job do you have? What resonated with you? Drop them in the comment section below. And also let me know if there's something you want me to dive deeper on, to touch on. I would love to do that for you in my next video. All right, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. And until next time, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.